a skill point. One I got like a skill and a trait, and I think one level I got like 2 skill points. I feel like, I don't know, but yeah, no, like it makes each level actually mean something.
It's awesome.
Not to mention the big, explosive animation effect whenever you get the level up. It's a little bit new.
And it blows up stuff around you. Yeah.
And actually, with the number of skills, with the number of skill points you get, by kind of narrowing it down and saying it's like, okay, you will eventually hit cap. It means that there's just less chaff in there. Everything is a bit more meaningful, which is important when you think about. There was a recent discussion about key bindings, and it seems kind of innocuous, but it raises an important point. If I've got way more, it's like, okay, if I have more skills than I have active bindings, a bunch of those are useless. They're doing me no good because I'm never going to use them because in the moment they're too hard to use.
Yeah.
And this was something that I was actually worried about for a long time, because I plan on playing the monk as the first one, but there's all the talk about it. It's like, yeah, the monk's going to be kind of a fighting game combo type character. But I'm like, well, I've only got 2 mouse buttons. And they're like, well, no, you are going to use, so you've got your mouse buttons, you've got your quick swap, and you've got your 1 through 5 key. And it is going to be a bit, it's going to be a lot more of using those keyboard binds in order to do things out in the world and keep it fast paced, but also expand what you're using so that characters aren't just 2 trick monkeys.
Right.
Did you guys ever see that World of Warcraft mouse?
Yeah.
That thing's ridiculous.
I
like
like 25 buttons.
Like for about 5 minutes. A month ago, for about 5 minutes, I considered getting one when my mouse died. Then I came to my senses. I asked my girlfriend to slap me hard a couple times, and I went and got a $30 blue track.
Nice.
Would be nice for Diablo 3 though, instead of having to hit all the buttons on the keyboard, just click them on the mouse on the side. It's rather interesting.
You'll be able to remap hotkeys.
That's right. Bashiok says he switched his tab key to switch the spells to his T key, since that worked better. But by default, I think it's now going to be the X key for some reason. I think that's the new default instead of tab.
I was looking at that, and what he must be doing is having like his thumb on T and then index through pinky on like 5 through 2, and I don't know.
He said it was close to his index finger, so I'm assuming he's got his 4 fingers resting on 2 through 5.
He's probably just got bigger hands than me.
It's a possibility.
Say about big hands.
Yeah.
Big gloves.
Well, sort of jumping back to the mouse thing, I wonder if SteelSeries is actually going to be doing anything special for Diablo 3. Maybe they'll come out.
Of course they will.
It's similar.
Of course they will.
80 buttons on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
You don't need a keyboard anymore.
You'd only need 7 buttons. Or 8, I guess, for swap.
See, now what I think I'm going to do, I know it's kind of silly to be thinking ahead of this. I think I'm going to unbind my right mouse button from skills so that my left mouse button will just be move. Because when playing Diablo 2 and when playing Torchlight, I absolutely hate it when I try and click on something and end up like to attack it and end up moving like around to the far side of a doorway or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
drives me
very
nuts.
annoying.
So I think, yeah.
I think you just need to get better at the game.
Well, there's that too. Maybe I just, I need to man up and just get better. But for now, I kind of suck. But I enjoy it. I like the game.
Well, a lot of it are just key features that are convenient. You type in a command, and now all of a sudden you don't accidentally pick up items until you actually want to.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's blow up Mr. Fallen. Let's not run into the 50 Fallen while trying to pick up that
5 gold.
Cracked dagger? Cracked dagger of suckiness? That's what I died for?
Oh, I hate that. I hate picking up stuff especially when you're a melee character, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kill the fetishes. Don't pick up their stupid crap. Kill them. It doesn't help that they're about the size of a cracked cap.
What's worse is when you fill up your inventory with crappy stuff, not realizing it, and then a boss pops and you go to get something good, and it's like, inventory's full.
That happens to me all the time.
Bitch!
It's one of the reasons why I barely do multiplayer, or if I'm doing multiplayer, I kind of have to take 3 deep breaths and say, okay, I will get no loot. I will get no loot. because sure enough, like before we get to the boss, I'm going to have filled my inventory with useless garbage, and I'm going to panic. And if I do pick up something, it'll be like the level 3 ring of like ultimate frost resistance. It's like, well, okay, this has a high item budget, I guess, but here at Kara, buy it from me.
Yeah, that was one of the worst features Diablo 2 ever had. Was there was all this loot dropping all the time, but if you weren't quick or if you were too far away, you didn't get anything. You were just a pauper.
Oh,
you had to be
kind of
ninja
hilarious.
That stuff.
It's kind of hilarious watching it though, because like you do a Diablo run and everybody jumps on top of him and is like huddled right around him, and you can tell who the undergeared people are because he's going to spin around and do his red lightning and just like kill 3 people trying to get some loot. And it's like, oh,
so funny.
Owned.
Yeah.
Fire Nova. Ah.
It's like, oh, I don't get loot anyway.
We got a little follow up to that the trait. I think Grug asked another question, following the that they removed damage against beasts, demons, and undead. I'm very happy to hear this, but what of Lucky and Intimidation? They are also fairly controversial traits that increase non-combat related stats. And Bashiok said, Lucky increases gold find by 10%. It's tough to say how that kind of thing will balance out. It wouldn't be worth taking until at least Nightmare, in my opinion. And even then, a trait point is a fairly powerful thing. I don't know if I'd spend it on gold find, but that's kind of a cool choice then, right? And he doesn't know what Intimidation is. He said he either doesn't remember it, they changed the name, or it was removed from the game.
Intimidation was a barbarian, demon hunter, and monk trait that increased damage done and reduced vendor costs. So no clue about the current fate of that. But
hey, I wouldn't be surprised if it got removed.
Yeah.
It's such a funny set of things to name for Intimidation, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's like kind of clunky, and 3 out of 5 classes get reduced vendor costs, so that's kind of lame.
Yeah, forget that noise.
Not to mention you're going up, it's like, give me better prices or I'll punch you.
But you're still a nice guy. We still love you. You're our hero.
Oh. You're a witch doctor? I'm not afraid of your punch, dude.
If anything, you should be afraid of the witch doctor.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
This pulsy old man comes up to you. I would like to buy from you. Just take it all.
Seriously. Don't turn me anything unnatural.
Oh, they do have polymorph, yeah.
Now,
so should we talk about the Facebook pictures? Because there's one that I really like.
Let's save those till what Bashiok said about the whirlwind barb.
Right.
The new changes to whirlwind.
Yeah, that's cool. So you hold down the button and it keeps going and keeps draining your fury.
Yeah.
So it's like you can like guide it and direct it and like move it all. I'll make figure 8s with it.
It's a draggable skill now.
So it functions more like Disintegrate then.
Right. You can you control it by holding down the mouse button and direct yourself around. Same as walking around, although it's slower turn radius.
Yeah, and that's kind of the interesting thing too, is that you won't have that old problem that you did in Diablo 2 where you click on a unit that's fleeing and all of a sudden you're chasing after it with this never-ending whirlwind while everything's pummeling you from a distance. You don't have to worry about that crap anymore, but at the same time, you also won't be able to get across the room with one whirlwind either necessarily. If your fury's low, then you're only going to go a few inches now, aren't you?
Well, and this goes into the strategy of how barbarian like fury management works, because even though whirlwind costs a ton, if you're hitting stuff, you're getting a ton back. So if you're good at guiding yourself around or sort of planning your path through the fray, then you could probably keep it going for a pretty long time.
Bashiok says it chews through fury like whoa. He said I want to see if it's possible to make a viable infinite fury regen build to feed it. Ideally, truly infinite fury isn't possible, but the bigger challenge is the viable bit. Stacking regen is possible, but potentially sacrificing damage output or reduction could make it really boring or just unusable. So,
well, and that's sort of like things like vengeance or not vengeance. Dang it, what's that paladin one where he just hits a whole bunch of times?
Zeal.
Zeal. It's like Zeal builds. They're viable, but man, are they boring.
Yeah.